There is a canon animated Star Wars show that no one talks about, Forces of Destiny, an underrated show that is honestly very fun, and there is one episode that all fans of The Mandalorian have to see, Art History. This is when Sabine Wren and her brother go to see the statue of Tar Vista to free it from Imperial control. Tar Vista was the first Mandalorian Jedi, and given we don't know much about his story outside of Star Wars Rebels where he was referenced, I would love for Tales of the Jedi Season 2, which releases next year, to explore his story in some more depth. That is a great idea for a short, and given we're in a down quiet period for Star Wars, I decided to rewatch Season 1. The next season releases next summer, and it got me thinking we're probably going to get some more Ahsoka stories, but on top of those, I think it's a great opportunity to explore something very different. Now, staying on the subject of Tales and weaving it into today's video, we're going to be talking about some new comments made by Eckstein. She's addressed some major rumors for Star Wars Ahsoka. When Ahsoka was first introduced, all the way back in 2008, in the Clone Wars movie, and then the 3D animated show, which came to an end in 2020, I don't think Dave Filoni and indeed George Lucas back then thought Ahsoka would make it as far as she has. But now in 2023, with the legacy of both the Clone Wars series and Star Wars Rebels being explored in live action, not just through The Mandalorian but of course in the upcoming Ahsoka show, yesterday on Twitter I posted in response to someone who said that Ahsoka probably should have died by now, that I think she's the figurehead of Star Wars for this period of time, the New Republic. We're gonna see her in her own show, in the Dave Filoni film, and there are still so many stories to tell, ones that involve her as the main character, so I want to see a lot more Ahsoka going forward. But what about the legacy the Ahsoka show is built off of? We're seeing a lot of Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars characters return, but this time in live action. What about the legacy of Ahsoka through Ashley Eckstein, the voice of animated Ahsoka Tano, and really the heart and soul of this character's legacy? After the release of Tales of the Jedi Season 1, she gave a few interviews. She visited the set of Dave Filoni's upcoming series. But a big question fans have, was she involved in the show at all? Does she do the voice of a younger version of Ahsoka through flashbacks? Does she play a background character that we can point at as fans and say, oh look, it's Ashley, kind of like an Easter egg that in some way includes her? Well now, in a brand new interview with comicbookmovie.com, Ashley has shot down these rumors, saying she was not involved in any way in Ahsoka Season 1, but she does hope if they make a second season, or if there are more stories with Ahsoka in Tales of the Jedi Season 2, that she gets to reprise the role again, but she's on very good terms with Rosario Dawson. She gave her advice, the two are close friends, and in a huge way she approves of the casting and is so excited for what the show's gonna bring, because over the years she's become naturally so attached to the character she's voiced for a decade and a half. So here is the quote. She says, I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed and throwing my dreams out into the universe, but I did get to visit the set. Now there's a very good chance she is playing coy. This is very common for actors. And while I don't expect to see Ashley Eckstein physically portraying Ahsoka in some way, I do expect if they're going to do some kind of flashback, and there are rumors saying that's going to be the case, we're going to see a younger version of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars being played by Savannah Stain. In this instance, it wouldn't be too bizarre to assume that Ashley would be the one to do the voiceover for that version of the character. That would be a fantastic way to incorporate her into the show, a show oriented around the next chapter of Ahsoka's journey. Is that a good idea? I think so. So there's a little bit of the interview that's really fascinating, and that's when Ashley goes into depth about the day she got to meet Rosario, the day she was invited on set by Dave. Here's the quote. It was a dream day. I got to meet Rosario, and all I ever wanted was just to get to know each other and support each other, like the beautiful example that's recently been set with Jodie Benson and Halle Bailey with The Little Mermaid. That's all I ever wanted. And then she says Team Tano, and I love that she called it that, is getting bigger and bigger, and I feel so blessed it started with a small little team all the way back in 2006 with myself, Dave and George. I feel so grateful I had a hand in creating this character. I was asked to bring my own heart and soul to this character. I was cast to be myself. My heart is in the character because I was asked to do that in order to bring her to life. And imagine you're Ashley Eckstein in this moment. This is someone who brought a new experimental animated character to life at a time when no one expected Anakin to have had a Padawan. This was during a very divisive time for the Star Wars fandom, and you're probably saying, well Meg, Star Wars fans have always been divisive. We never agree on anything. But this was particularly bad. I mean, people forget really just how bad the backlash to the prequel trilogy was. As a prequel fan myself at the time, I was too young to have a voice. This was pre-social media, or at a time where social media was really just starting. But the press was horrible. The press was really hounding George, crapping on the films. When the Clone Wars came out, fans were like, well, why does Anakin have this whiny little Padawan? But her character has grown so much. Dave has seen that growth, and we as a fandom have seen how amazing and well developed she is. So we've gotten behind her all the way, for the upcoming Ahsoka show, for Star Wars Rebels when that came out, for the Clone Wars. I mean, do you remember just how big the Clone Wars Season 7 was? And so going into Star Wars Ahsoka, off the back of her appearances, as Rosario Dawson of course, in The Mandalorian Season 2, and the Book of Boba Fett, if you're Ashley, you saw all of that. Because as she says, when she was asked to first portray the character, she didn't know what to expect. She didn't know how fans were going to react. She didn't know that her character was going to have such a long-spanning legacy, that she was going to meet Luke and be a pivotal component of the pre-sequel trilogy era, the Mandalorian era, the New Republic. So I do wish her the best, and I'm really hoping in some way, shape or form she was involved with this show. Considering she is best known as the voice of Ahsoka, that would be the most fitting in terms of a flashback. So finally she says, to have that recognised by Rosario just means the world to me. And now, to have a friendship and relationship that is so special, I'm just so grateful to her and what she's been bringing to this character with the great job she's been doing. I look forward to building this friendship with her over the years to come, and continuing to shine Ahsoka's light both on and off the screen. Ahsoka has transcended the screen. That's why I say Ahsoka lives in all of us now, because she's truly changing and saving lives. She says she lives in the hearts and souls of all of us as she guides our thoughts and decisions and inspires us daily. This is a character that I try to live my life and be Ahsoka on screen whenever I'm given the privilege to do so, and off screen, just in my daily life, and be a real-life Ahsoka Tano day in, day out. So yeah, it's just an honour and a privilege to get to know Rosario and celebrate this character together whenever we can. She is fantastic, and on the subject of Tales of the Jedi, she says, quote, "It was just so beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Even though they were shorts, they were so powerful, and as Yoda says, judge me by my size, do you? Do not judge something just because it's a short piece of content, as it packed a powerful punch, and it really gave some important information to Ahsoka's backstory. And I'm so grateful I got to step back into Ahsoka's boots and lend my voice to her again. Dave Filoni promised me that I'd always be the voice of Ahsoka in animation, so I'm just so grateful I got to do that again and celebrate more Ahsoka stories with Tales of the Jedi. I'm going to continue to celebrate more Ahsoka with the Ahsoka series, and I can't wait to see what new stories we're about to get. Ashley is a gem, a true gem, a role model, and we are so lucky in the Star Wars fandom to have her. I really love her humbleness and positivity, always saying she is grateful for opportunities. Truly the embodiment of Ahsoka Tano. So share your thoughts on this and everything we spoke about in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Is it a good idea if she appears in the show? Do you want to see Ashley Eckstein or hear her? 49 days to go till Ahsoka, so exciting. If you enjoyed this video guys, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you, always.